What's up? This is Jameson with Cosmo King TCG, here to bring you guys a spicy Zoodiac Mech Knight deck profile. It's just a really fun deck that is still capable of keeping up with a good amount of the meta today. To start off this build, we run the 3 Thoroughblade, a little bit of extra draw power if necessary, and helps get your XE monsters to gain piercing damage, the effect to pierce. Next up, we play the triple Whiptail. Anything an XE monster attacks or does battle with, banish it at the end of the damage calculation, which is always good to get rid of really annoying monsters. You take a little bit of life points, but in the long run, getting that bigger body off the board that you're unable to answer is always a good thing. And of course, for name, I play D1 Rat, RIP. If you were at 3, this deck would be even more broken, but it's understandable why it is at 1. Like, we all remember Zoo format. Next up, I play the 1 Ram Ram. Ram Ram is really good because Impermanence is running around a lot, and certain of your XE monsters, if it gets negated, it basically ends your turn. So this lets it to where you can still pop off your effect by detaching him when he's XE material from one of these Zoo XE monsters. The next one I'm taking in, because Sky Striker is a thing, the 1 Bunny Blast. Because if they try to Widow Anchor you or Afterburner you, you just detach that and it negates it. And Widow Anchor you definitely don't want to be used against you, because then they're just going to end up taking your monster and link summoning off with it, because that's all they're going to be able to do when the effect's negated. That's it for the Zoo lineup. Next up, we play the Mech Knights. Of course, the best one, play a triple Purple Nightfall, because banishing the dodge effects and searching is always a good thing. And then one that's still really good, but not as good because he gets stuck and doesn't have as much attack points, is of course the Blue Sky. Lets you add up to the number of cards in your opponent's side of the field in the same column that he's in. And then for the 1-ups and the Mech Knights, I play the 1 Indigo Eclipse to make more room, seeing as you're able to create your own column very easily with having Barrage and a monster or any of your other sets, and then going into one of the link monsters and you just throw one of these guys right underneath it and you're good. And then the last one, we play the 1 Red Mood for monster removal. Just a little bit of extra help to get things out of the way. For the hand traps, of course, play the best one there is, Triple Ash Blossom, because we want to negate your opponent from doing things, and stunning to be able to live another day is always good. And because I can't afford Impermanence right now, I'm playing Double Effect Veiler. Still really good because the Danger FTK is still a thing, and you either want to hit that firewall or that cannon soldier so you don't die before you even get to play. Granted, if they bring Azathoth, you're kind of screwed still. For the spells, we start out with probably one of the most broken spells that has been ever created in Yu-Gi-Oh! Just because of the impact it had on the game. Still surprised it's at 3 here, because you can still do some nutty shit with it. Triple Zoodiac Barrage. This card defined a format. It's like a couple dollars now. It used to be a $100 card, which is always sad to see, but it's not viable, so the price is going to follow. Basically a costless summon. If you don't open up a monster, this is going to give you a monster, and if you use the effect to pop it to summon, and you already have an XE monster on board, that's free material. That way, like, you can use the monster's effect without having to lose your attack points for the monster, because that can be an issue. Next up, I only play Tomb, just because like there's other ways to get it, and other ways to get into your monsters and everything like that, because of the amount we run now. Is the 2 Fire Formation Tanky, which is a very good starter search card. Not as good as Barrage, but it's still really good, and it gives that little bit of attack boost for all your monsters, since pretty much all of them are going to be Beast Warrior. Next up, of course, we play the Double Scapegoat, because this is not as spammy of a deck as it used to be, so you need something to be able to extend your next turn to push for your OTK. And then since we are playing the Mech Knights, I'm playing One World Legacy Memory, because you really just bring up purple with this. End phase, banish, search. That way it doesn't get sent back to the hand. And then he comes immediately back, and then you have a setup to bring out another Mech Knight to help push for your OTK. And of course, as an extender, we play the One Monster Reborn, because you can either take link monsters your opponent has to try to link up into your Boral Sword, or you can get one of your zoos back to continue the climb on your Xyz. And because this is a going second build, we do main the one Regeki to clear board presence for you to be able to go off easier. For the traps, we of course play the one Zoodiac combo. If you open it, it's okay, because its set effect is alright, because you get to attach a zoo monster from deck to one of your XC monsters on field. But its grave effect is where it's at, because you burn through resources a lot, and especially now you're not able to recur as much, since we do not have Norden, we do not have Emerald anymore. So it lets you recycle 5 of your zoo cards with different names, and it lets you draw 1 card. So it's usually optimal to just send it off of Rat. Then of course we play the One World Legacy Secret, because of the Mech Knights, and it's effectively like the skill drain for that column, which is really, really good. And the card comes in clutch a lot. Basically the best Mirror Force right now, the Storming Mirror Force, because we don't care if you have the Cerberus and Phoenix, because if you use Phoenix and you didn't pop this card, it's going to suck when you attack, because they're all going back, and all that hard work and resources go away. And lastly, for the traps, I play the Solemn cards. Play the One Warning, the One Judgment, and the Triple Strike, because negation is great, and it gets rid of a lot of the problem cards that you're unable to get rid of. As soon as they go into one of those big link monsters you can't get over, like that Boral Sword, Boral Lord, throw down the strike, or throw out the warning, and it's gone. The judgment's there for if you absolutely have to do it, and it's the only answer you have to be able to continue going on. You would go with the Solemn Judgment. Plus, Solemn Judgment gives you spell and trap negation, which can be very, very helpful, especially playing against like Sky Striker or any other deck that's going to try to kill you with spell or trap cards. Onto the extra deck, I play the 2 Zoodiac Chakanine, free Mrs. Radiant, or you could just use her for the climb. Free Mrs. Radiant, or going into the couple nightmares or other link monsters that play. Of course, next we play the 2 Tiger Mortar, because when you have like Barrage and stuff on it, you can get ditch the Barrage to get like a Whiptail or a Thoroughblade that's engraved. That way you can boost up her attack to get that banish or that piercing damage. And then of course we played the 1 Borbo. This one's actually really good, because it can effectively just attack your opponent directly. Like the secondary effect, you're really not going to happen, because games do not last long enough for this dude to get 12 materials. Like, realistically, the first effect, if you were to use it to the only optimal one. And just for a name, we play the Hammer Kong because you're not really gonna. It's not like beforehand where you had like multiple, like the Trident or like a Broad Bull out, and you had to protect them. Usually, you're only gonna have the one with like Link monsters. So he's really now the starter one you build up off of. And then for the Links, I play the 2 Mrs. Radiant because all my main deck monsters that I normal summon all my Xyz monsters are Earth, so it gives them that little bit extra push to try to go for the OTK, and basically helps it out a lot. I would play one of the Drenum Doll because I can reset. He gains 100 attack for every Beast Warrior and Winged Beast on board on your side of the field. And if it destroys a card in battle, like you can reoccur, banish, and engrave resources and add it back to hand, which can be really helpful, especially when you have those whiptails in there. I play one Mech Knight Link because it's a Link 2 in case like something gets negated or something's stuck and you can't attack with it or whatever. Just link up into this guy. You can ditch one of your other ones to either search for the World Legacy Memory or the World Legacy Secret that's in the deck. A lot of times it's not usually what goes in, it's just kind of there because it is a Link 2 and it can be helpful. And next up for the, because we do play Scapegoat, we play the 1 Link Karibo and the 1 Link Spider for my Link 1s. I play 1 Link Karibo and 1 Link Spider instead of 2 Link Spiders because I can save resources like the Mrs. Radiance for later on in the game by going into either the Nightmares and then tributing the last token off to bring the Link Karibo back, like you do in the Trickstar deck, and basically just save some of your Link monsters for later in the game. And of course, the only 2 Nightmares I run because I don't really have room for Unicorn is Cerberus and Phoenix, monster removal, spell trap removal. Pretty self-explanatory, and a lot of times when you're using it, it is during that Scapegoat played, so you're able to still get that extra draw power off of each one depending on which one you're going into. And last but not least, because you're doing the climb, this one you can switch out. I'm playing Boral Sword because the whole point is go second, go off, OTK your opponent. And if you do have to go first, Scapegoat play can be also like extremely optimal since Earth and all that. But Boral Sword is the way to go. Like you can play Borreload instead, depending on like formats or how you want to play the deck. But I like focusing on the OTK. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below for future deck profiles and other content. Let us know how we're doing and how you guys would like to see the channel improve. Catch you guys later.